Good morning, good morning.
Good
morning. Thanks for blowing in today.
Yeah.
So, welcome everybody. My name's Ann Hudgens, and I'm currently serving as the president of the Unity Council as my great blessing. I've spent my whole adult life at this church, met my husband here, had 2 children that went through the program, and Unity is, I love Unity down to my toes. So I'm so glad to be here this morning. The other thing I love down to my toes is Leanne. I was so excited to see you. Woohoo! Welcome home, Leanne.
Can I just say one?
Yes, please.
For those of you who don't know, I had a heart attack on April 1st, and it was a really great whack upside the head from the universe. So I'm learning to do things differently, and I'm incredibly grateful to be here, and I'm incredibly grateful for all the love and energy that's been flowing my way. It's literally palpable. So thank you all.
Aw, sweet. Leanne is a doer, to say the least.
Yeah.
So in spite of herself, she's allowing us to have a food train coming her way through April with heart-healthy foods. So we'll be having a sign-up list for that. So truly, that's in spite of herself. Food, love in the form of food for Leanne. We have a celebration of life happening for our dear Martha Goodell next Saturday, the 16th at 10 a.m. And the Unity membership, it's a 10 a.m. service, so it's not lunch. But it would be lovely if we could have some finger food at the service. So if you're planning to come, bringing a little something would be great. Next Saturday, 10 a.m. The 16th. It's in your bulletin as well. Sharon, would you come up and talk about Easter and prayer chaplains?
Good morning. Well, yes, and I'm thrilled to my toes because we have chaplains calling some of you, and you will be getting a phone call. If you don't want a chaplain for some reason, just tell them, and we'll take you off the list. If you don't get a call during the month of April, give us a call, and we'll make sure that you have one. And what the chaplain program is about is they hold you in prayer every day of the month for the next year. And so each month they call and they say, "This is your chaplain. How may I hold you in prayer this month?" And maybe you've had life is just celebration, and so you pray a prayer of gratitude. Or maybe you have a concern for yourself or someone else, and so they hold that in prayer for you. And so we just have this prayer energy flowing through our congregation. So that's what the prayer chaplain program is. And if the prayer chaplains that are here this morning would raise their hands, we just really want to honor you and thank you for the effort, the training, and what you're doing. We're blessed by you. So Easter, next Sunday. We have an amazing service planned for you. It's called the Four Marys. How many of you know all 4 Marys that were involved in Jesus' life? Well, I'm not going to tell you. You can be guessing all week long, or maybe Google it if you're going to cheat. But we are going to be doing a play where the 4 Marys are going to talk about what they learned from Jesus, but in hindsight, like 20 years or so later. Where am I now and how do I see it? Along with that, Elle and the music team have some just fabulous music planned. So bring your neighbors, bring your in-laws, bring your people you don't even think you like, and bring your favorite people, because it's going to be just a great Easter Sunday. So looking forward to seeing all of you here and you online also. God bless all of you.
Thanks, Sharon. I forgot to welcome the people online. I'm looking in the camera and imagining faces. Arlene, Joe. It helps me to think there's people out there instead of looking at the camera. So we're having about 50 to 70 people watching online every week. So it's not small. They're crammed in that camera right there. All right. Take one peek behind you at the art wall. Gloria Willis. Woohoo! Gloria, raise your hands right here. Gloria is also speaking today, but thank you. We have a tradition of having folks put up their art for all of us to enjoy on the art wall. And it's kind of scooched over a hair because you'll see some tape on the floor. We're going to be building a sound booth in the back, which will improve our ability to do quality sound and online services. So the tech team is on fire. Yeah. Yay. We also had a marvelous donor that gave us the money to upgrade our tech, and we are so, so grateful. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Let me see if there's anything else. I have yet to do one of these where I haven't forgotten something, so I'm going to look. The other one kind of big idea that we're holding in our thoughts is that it would be so cool to have a team of folks who were the welcomers of new people. So I think we do an okay job handing people welcome packets, but what happens when you really get greeted into a community and you find that there's support here for you and whatever you're looking for makes people come back and find their spiritual home here. So we're looking for a couple of people that would take on the welcome team activity. So if you feel called to do that, let us know. And for those of you who are new today, would you look in the back corner, and Julie's going to wave her hand, and she has welcome packets for you, and we're so glad you're here.
I'd just like to acknowledge that we have the annual yard cleanup yesterday.
Yay!
And we had, I think, around 15 people or so show up, and it was a huge success. I know it's a little windy and cold out, but if you want to take a look around, I am so amazed at the amount of work that got done. It looks great, and it's just going to help everything grow for spring, so it's wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah.
So for those online, she just announced our spring cleanup, 15 people strong, lots of work done. And I know my husband Robert was in the labyrinth with a team of kids, and they cleaned up the labyrinth. So how cool is that? All right. Okay, friends, take a big old deep breath. And we'll share our unity blessing together. Our unity centers us in light and peace, allowing us to recognize our God within and to radiate that love to the world. Amen.
So is Diana Zweygardt here? Are you going to do a reading before we play?
After you play.
Oh, okay. Oops. Durr. All right. So we're going to miss Gerald today, and please say a little prayer for Leanne. She's fighting the flu for over a week now, you know. There are some forms of the flu that are not good. Yeah, so anyway. So Al has stepped up, my favorite husband. I can actually say that. A 1, a 2, 1, 2. Dark
you. Any of these songs you know, you are so welcome to sing along. We love that. Okay, and Diana.
My name is Diana Zweygardt, and I chose for the readings today writings by the prophet and monk Thomas Merton and his writings from his nature meditations. How long we wait, with minds as dim as ponds, while stars swim slowly homeward in the waters of our west. O earth, when will we hear your song? The rain surrounds the whole cabin with its enormous virginal myth, a whole world of meaning, of secrecy, of silence, of rumor. Think of it, all that speech pouring down, seeing nothing, judging nobody. I cannot have enough of the hours of silence when nothing happens, when the clouds go by, when the trees say nothing, when the birds sing. I'm completely addicted to the realization that just being there is enough. And to add something else is to mess it all up.
Wow. That's a lovely poem. And sometimes we forget. This is it, guys. It's perfect. Perfectly imperfect, and that's what it's all about. So we picked a song that had a lot of production, but we love it. It's a Donovan song, Wear Your Love Like Heaven, and this is a great sing-along. I see some smiles there. So I actually tried a vocal processor to try to make that sound of a psychedelic, but I couldn't make it work. He said I sounded like a computer, so that was not what I was going for. Anyway, here's our version of Wear Your Love Like Heaven. 1, 2, 1, 2. Thank you. All right, now we get to hear 4 wonderful.
Wonderful women.
Yes.
Well, I've been looking forward to this day for a while, and it's a little risky in some way. It felt a little risky to either ask people to share a mystical experience because we actually don't talk about it very much. I find that lots of us have those, but there's not a place in conversation for it so much. And so I wasn't sure whether folks would respond, and 4 lovely women did. And what I think you'll see, and I didn't ask what the stories were, I just said, come share your story. What you'll see is a variety of folks who come to Unity with different spiritual paths and different experiences and the courage to share. When I was in junior high, I was a very social being, and my friends were going to MYF, the Methodist Youth Fellowship. I had no idea what that was, and there were 5 of us in my family, and we were feral children. So there was no religion, no talk of God. I had no spiritual expectations. I knew nothing, but I knew they were having fun at MYF, so off I went. I have no remembrance of how I happened to be alone in the chapel. It makes no sense to me. And in that chapel, I was hit by the presence of God in a way that I had no expectation of. No words to put to it, no one to talk to about it. And I have been hungry for God ever since. So I love to hear the stories. The Course in Miracles says there's no order of miracles. So big or small in our minds, they're all miracles. So I'm going to call Treva to share the first story. Come on up, Treva.
Good morning. In my experience, the universe speaks in synchronicities and surprises. And one dawned on me this morning. It's traditionally Palm Sunday, the Sunday before Easter. And I just remember stories of well-wishers. They saw Jesus coming, and they were like, yeah, he's going to take names, kick butt, throw off the oppressor. And wait, that dude's on a small donkey. That can't be right. Okay, well, go team. And the irony, that surprise that we were all in for, and we are still all in for. And the synchronicity this morning that we're here sharing Christ. We are one. And we're sharing our mystical experiences. And that's what on Palm Sunday, folks were experiencing the mystical in their midst. And here we are doing it again. My 6-year-old son, Joel, was experiencing intermittent blindness and headaches and needed an MRI for his symptoms. I was an ICU nurse, and I knew what caused intermittent blindness and headaches: a brain tumor, most likely an inoperable one. When the technician asked me if I would like to stand next to Joel during the procedure, my brain screamed, no. No way. I wanted to disappear into a Woman's Day magazine in the waiting room and wait for the results. I wanted no parts of that. But pride, of all things, pride kept me being a good mom, and I went in and I stood next to him. And I stood next to him as that loud machine whirled. I watched as Joel's pale, unconscious body moved into a deafeningly loud machine, and I felt completely and utterly helpless. Here I am, his mother. I'm a nurse, and I was completely helpless. All I could do was stand there. In my profound grief and aloneness, I said aloud, "There's nowhere to go. There is nowhere to go." I guess that's what you call surrender. Then immediately, a deep sense of peace came over me. It descended on me. The only way I can even begin to describe it is that it was like a warm bath that it went from the top down. No wonder, as humans, we often go like this, or we think of God as up there, when God is everywhere in all of us. But it came like this upon me. And in an instant, I knew that no matter what the outcome of the MRI, I would be at peace. How could that be? But I was in a deep, deep peace. Even if Joel died, we would still be one. We would still be mother and son. We would remain together, and we would get through whatever was going to face us. I knew that this would sound crazy to most people. It was not head knowledge. It was a deep, unshakable knowingness. In that moment, I was completely empty. I was empty except for one thing: the purest faith I had ever known. This faith was as real as the sun is above us and the ground beneath my feet. The impact on me, long-lasting, is faith beyond measure. Sure, I'd love to stand here and say, oh, the peace that passes all understanding is still hanging on. I'm still in that very place. But the truth is, the peace dissipated over about 24 hours. The MRI results were that he had something called pseudotumor cerebri, which was a false tumor and could be treated with medication. So grateful. But life soon returned to its normal progression and pace. Fast forward 15 years. And Joel has refused to communicate with me since I divorced his father 2 years ago. On the surface, this estrangement is painful. My head knowledge can run away with my emotions and make up these plausible, scary stories. But then I get quiet and I tap into faith with a capital F. And I know that we are one. Joel and I are one. Indeed, we are all one. All of us. And everything is all right forever. Shout out to Bono for his song, Moment of Surrender.
so lovely. Thank you, Treva. Who's next? Gloria Willis. Come forth. All right.
Good morning, everyone. I brought notes, but I really hope I don't need them. So I'm delighted to be able to share my experience, my mystical experience of really trusting Spirit. I had enjoyed a pretty long career in the corporate world when someone said to me, an associate, someone I didn't even know very well, said to me, Gloria, you must do something with your creativity. And I said, what? And she said, well, you'll have to discover that. And so I took that as a message from Spirit, that there was something within me that needed to come out. And I didn't know what it was. And so I started a search. And the very first thing that happened is that I came to Unity one Sunday. This is probably in 2007. And I saw this most beautiful display of artwork in the back of the room of impressionistic portraits. And the artist came up to me and said, can I help you? And I said, yes, I want to paint like that. And so he said, well, you can come to my studio and paint with my group on Tuesdays. And so that was the beginning of my art career. I started painting with these very accomplished people. And he said, I'm not going to teach you, but you can just watch what I do. And so I did my best at that. And what happened is I first picked up the brush. I absolutely loved it. And the very first portrait that I did looked very much like the model. So I thought, this feels good to me. I like this. That was the first thing that happened. The second thing that happened is that I was offered this really great job down in New Orleans in my corporate career, and I just couldn't say no to it, and so I went. And I don't know if you've been to New Orleans, but it's one of the most creative places I had ever been, and certainly most creative place I ever lived. It's not unusual for a parade to go by your house at 10 o'clock in the morning, beautiful music playing, and very elaborate costumes and Mardi Gras, and just that there's an aliveness. There's also violence and high humidity. And what that said to me, especially the violence, was just stay awake. It's not a bad thing to be awake. And so it put me in that place of being alert and awake, and that was a good thing. The third thing that happened was that I followed the guidance of my neighbor, a French painter. She said, take your stuff down to the square and paint. And so I got my permit and went down there and very gingerly put it up my few little things that I had. And I really didn't know what I was going to paint. But I was right behind the St. Louis Cathedral, so I painted angels. I thought, I'm going to paint angels. And I painted all kinds of angels on recycled wood, and that was the beginning. I also was very inspired by Georgia O'Keeffe, and she painted flowers, and I thought, I think I could probably paint a flower. And so I started painting flowers. And by the end of the time of my time in New Orleans, I was known as the Poppy Lady. And I'd be in a restaurant, and somebody would say, you're the Poppy Lady. And yes, I'm the Poppy Lady. So my process for learning to paint was really just to look within and see what's inspiring me. Could it be a color or the beautiful essence of the flower or a face? You know, I didn't really know what to paint, and so I just kept painting and followed my guidance from within. It all came from within, and because I didn't know. And so that was really the beginning of my career. If you look at the back of my artwork in the back, you'll see all kinds of different things. Each one, though, is a special expression of God, I believe. And the one, especially with the blue, with the sky, was a photo from my daughter who said, this blue sky. And I tried to paint it like she gave it to me, but I had to make it my own. And so I did. And I'm finding that as I've progressed over these 15 years of being an artist, that my painting is going from flowers and realism to more expressionist and abstracts, and been told, paint bigger, Gloria, paint bigger, paint brighter, paint more abstract. And so that's my next adventure, and that will also be an inside job. The last thing that I want to share is that art has really opened up a whole new world for me, of a dynamic community around the world of people that connect with each other. And it's helped me to stay in the present moment, to be calm, and it actually changes our consciousness to be more orderly and more receptive. And I think probably the best thing is it's just really opened up my heart to what's beautiful and what's good and what's God. And for all that, I'm grateful. I know that there's an artist within each one of us if we only be receptive to it. And so I would encourage you to listen to that voice. Thank you.
Jim has been doing a class from metaphysics to the mystical, and one of the paragraphs I read in there talks about the mystical as the divine feminine, which is what Gloria just spoke about, finding the inner artist. Connie, please come up.
Good morning, my name is Connie Miller, and I was born and raised in Germany. I had graduated with a degree in occupational therapy in 1976, gotten married in 77. On May 29th, I was doing my best to give birth to my first child, and I was really trying. Nobody had told me how difficult it could be, but everybody said, you're strong, you're good, healthy German stock. You can just pop out this baby like nothing. I was in good hands. I was in Göttingen, the university clinic in Göttingen, which is a mid-sized town close to where I grew up. They were telling me it should be quick and easy. Well, your word in God's ear. So the first hours of labor were okay, went as expected. There was the pain as expected, but it was manageable. I got some medication. I had learned to breathe through in these preparation classes that they had back then, and I thought I was doing a good job. But then everything stopped and didn't go forward. I was in a lot of pain, and I tried to explain to the doctors that it feels like this baby is not coming out that way. It feels like it's trying to come up. And they all said something like that doesn't happen. And how many kids have you birthed? Well, this would be your first. Oh, I have had hundreds, and I'm the doctor. And you birth a baby out towards the bottom, not towards the top. But the pain would not stop, and I was so confused. I asked for more medication, and they said, we cannot give you any more because the baby will not tolerate it. And you want a healthy baby, don't you? So I felt so guilty. I just tried to bear it, couldn't bear it anymore. Lost the way of breathing and was just miserable. And it felt like I was dying. I was so afraid, couldn't catch my breath. And I started to pray. It's the only thing I could think of. I just prayed. And then I thought I might have fallen asleep, but when I woke up, there was somebody sitting next to me on my left side, next to my bed. And I saw it. I thought it was a woman because it looked like a woman to me. It was like in profile. And she looked like one of those old-fashioned nurse, whatever they wear on their head, this kind of like a veil kind of thing. Somebody said, oh, was this a Catholic hospital? I don't remember that. But they said it could have been a nun in a habit. That's what, but it was a woman. And she held my hand, and she talked to me, and she said, I know you're in a lot of pain. Yeah, I can see that. I can feel that. So let me tell you something. This is what we're going to do. I want you to look towards the wall in front of your bed. And there was a wall. And she said, I want you to look towards the purple light. And I looked, and boom, there was a purple light. It was kind of a little bit fuzzy, coming, just blossoming out. And she said, did you see it? And I said, yes, I see the purple light. And she said, okay, I want you to keep looking at that purple light. When you look at the purple light, your pain will go away. I will stay with you. Your pain will go away. You will get tired. You will fall asleep. And you will have your baby girl next morning. Okay, that's exactly what happened. I looked at the purple light. She held my hand. I fell asleep. The next morning, well, it was afternoon by the time I had my baby, but it was bearable. And I made it through. And when my family came to pick me up, my husband and my parents came to pick me up and the baby to go home, I said, wait, I want to talk to this nurse, the nurse with the purple light. And, okay, you met a nurse? What did she look like? And I described, Oh, and a purple light, and you had a lot of medication, didn't you? So I just could never find anybody. There was no nurse like that. Definitely purple light healing was not talked about ever in Germany in 77. Might be around now, I don't know. But I just basically kept this to myself, and I said, whoever that was, whatever that was, I prayed for relief, and to me that was an angel. I just declared it was my own personal angel, and was always looking for people who have had experiences like this, and yay, there's more. There's more now, and I feel really good about that. I even found books where these kind of people write their stories, and I said, that was another miracle that I found a book about that. So I said, thank you. I'm very grateful. I'm grateful to be here. And so that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
There are books. My husband Robert's favorite books are the Small Miracle stories. And they're full of these stories of unexpected coincidences, God stories. Come on up, Diana.
Hello again. My mystical experience goes back over 20 years when I lived in a small village in New York State. And I was living through 18 years while I took care of my terminally ill child who had suffered severe brain damage from the radical radiation treatment she'd undergone to arrest a malignant brain tumor. However, this story is not primarily about my daughter. It's about the mystical connection we have with animal spirits and the connectedness among all beings, seen and unseen, including how the cosmic forces of the creative universe are at play. This story is about how I was visited by the actual presence of a Luna moth that was sensing my enhanced human energy vibrations. In 1993, a year after my daughter passed, I was co-producing a ballet involving some 60 children in the village of Alfred, New York. The ballet was designed as a memorial service for my daughter and her passing, and I was sewing the costumes for 12 young girls who'd be dancing their part as Luna moths. Their dance scene would take place in a garden behind the moon as part of a story ballet, which involved many children dancing as animals and angels and other beings. One moonlit night, I was sewing next to a window looking out to my backyard, and there on the outside of the window was a Luna moth, its legs attached to the glass pane and watching me sew the costumes. That was the first time and the only time I've ever seen a live Luna moth, as they're rarely seen because they only come out at night. I quickly grabbed a glass jar with a lid and went outside to safely capture the Luna moth off of the window. The next day I took the Luna moth to show to the director of the Ballet Academy, who was co-producing the ballet with me, and I told her the story, and we decided to let the Luna moth out into her flower gardens. A week later, on the first day of the memorial ballet, my director friend was walking out in her gardens, and a Luna moth came and lit on her arm and stayed there for a short time and then flew away. For me, the Luna moth signified mystical forces that reveal and connect unseen parallels between animal spirits and human lives. The Luna moth, who has moon shapes on each wing, communicates non-verbally with other insects. Its entire life, which is very brief, only 7 to 10 days, is involved in a series of transformations and shape-shifting, using until its final stage when it has wings to fly. The Luna moth seemed to illuminate the life of my daughter, who had gone through so many physical transformations in her short life and long illness, and she had lost her ability to speak as well as walk. At the end of the ballet performance, the young child who danced the part of my daughter in the ballet passed over a moonlit path to another dimension in a garden behind the moon with her new wings gifted to her by the moon angel in the ballet. Those who study animal spirits suggest that the Luna moth tells of new beginnings and resurrections. It was clear to me that I had had a mystical experience. Perhaps it was a sign of my daughter's spirit coming back to us through the ballet. Or perhaps it showed how animals and human spirits can join their energies together in tangible ways. I still wonder at its mystery. It's a reminder that I'm a part of sacred mysteries in the unending, shining journey through the universe.
Wow. How sweet. Thank you. We're going to do our thoughts, our prayers as the introduction into the meditation. But during the meditation, I'd like you to think of a time when you felt a presence, a mystical experience, a moment of knowing or a feeling of peace. Thank you.
Our thoughts are prayers, and we are always praying. Our thoughts are prayers. Listen to what you're saying. Seek a higher consciousness, a state of peace mindfulness and know that God is everywhere, and every thought's indeed a prayer. May the blessings of God rest upon me. May God's peace abide in me. May God's presence illuminate my heart now and forevermore. May the blessing of God rest upon you. May God's peace abide in you. May God's presence illuminate your heart now and forevermore. May the blessings of God rest upon us. May God's peace abide in us. May God's presence illuminate our heart now and forevermore. Now and forevermore. Now and forevermore.
Let's have the musicians join us, and we'll do our offering blessing. Divine light, love through me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. We'll pass the baskets while you're singing. Thank you.
Yeah. This is definitely a sing-along here. We've got a lot of names for God and Spirit, and actually, Al and I looked up what Hare Krishna means, and Hari was a feminine kind of energy, and the Krishna was a masculine kind of an energy, and Rama was the joining of these two energies. Actually, there were a lot of different things it said it meant. And if you sing those, it starts a vibration in you that apparently is transcending. It's pretty darn cool. Okay. One, two, one, two.
Where are those precious beings? And there they are. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Here at the corner of Lions and Vine, I'm gonna let it shine. Here at the corner of Lions and Vine, I'm gonna let it shine. Here at the corner of Lions and Vine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I was in such shock last week because all the kids came out here. I wasn't expecting them. And I realized that we didn't introduce ourselves. And I kind of want you to know these guys. Yeah. So can you start? Introduce yourself and say what we talked about?
I'm Kaya. Today we talked about co-creating some more. We read a book about taking like chances and co-creating. Yeah,
That's good.
I'm Gabriel, and, well, I don't really have anything to say.
Show us what you made, Gabriel.
I think it's personal. Oh, okay. He wouldn't let me read it. Okay.
My name's Audrey, and we talked about more about co-creating, and we also read a book about co-creating too. I don't really need to say anything right now. My name is Leaf, and we learned about co-creating in a book about co-creating.
All right.
Yes, they did. And all these guys right here, I wasn't here yesterday. My son had a soccer game. They worked on the playground and the labyrinth. Wow. And take a look at it. It's amazing. Thank you, Denise.
Thank you. Yes.
It's Birthday Sunday.
Oh, right.
The second Sunday of every month, we have Birthday Sunday, and it's April. And if you have a birthday this month, please come up here. We want to sing to you. Do we have anybody? Oh, Sharon. Come on up. Both Sharons. Both Sharons. Whoa. You have a birthday this month, too? Oh, boy. Anybody else? Oh, no takers. Okay. Well, these ladies are both named Sharon.
Makes it easy.
She's the oldest, she says. Okay, so days, the number. Just 24. Okay. 18th. Okay. Are you ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Sharons. Happy birthday to you. And many more.
All right, let's circle up for the prayer of protection and our peace song. We're a big group today.
Gerald told me that what Franklin used to do is give you the first chord and then join everybody, and everybody sings.
Sounds great.
Shall we try that?
So we'll do circle up. So I'll start with the prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well.
Yes, there is